Let's be real. Decoding a woman's signals can be a total minefield. You know the feeling all too well, bro. You're chatting it up with an attractive girl and suddenly, you find yourself second-guessing every little gesture, every playful comment, every lingering glance. Is she flirting with you, or is she just being friendly? Is that prolonged eye contact a surefire sign of interest, or is she simply making sure you don't have something stuck in your teeth? Look, we've all been there, caught in that awkward limbo of trying to decipher the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, clues a woman is sending our way. And let's be honest, it's a total minefield. Misread those signals, and you could end up making a fool of yourself by coming on too strong. But play it too cool, and you might just miss out on an incredible opportunity to take things to the next level. In this no-nonsense guide, we're going to break down the art of reading between the lines and separating the friendly vibes from the flirtatious hints. So, buckle up, it's about to get real. Body language, the silent seductress. Let's start with the obvious, body language. It's like a secret language that women have been fluent in since birth, and us guys are still struggling to grasp the basics. But fear not, my friend, because we're about to break it down for you. If a girl is interested in you, her body language will likely be open and inviting. She might lean in closer during your conversations, play with her hair or jewelry, a classic flirting move, or make prolonged eye contact that borders on smoldering. On the flip side, if she's crossing her arms, angling her body away from you, or constantly checking her phone, those could be signs that she's just not that into you. But here's where it gets tricky. Some women are naturally flirtatious or simply more touchy-feely in their interactions. So, you can't rely on body language alone. You've got to look for clusters of signals and overall patterns of behavior. Conversational cues, reading between the lines. Alright, so you've got the body language down, but what about the actual conversation? This is where things can get really confusing, especially if you're dealing with a particularly witty or sarcastic girl. If she's flirting with you, chances are she'll be more engaged in the conversation, asking you thoughtful questions and responding with enthusiasm and genuine interest. She might also tease you playfully or make suggestive comments that toe the line between friendly and flirtatious. On the other hand, if she's just being friendly, the conversation might feel a bit more one-sided or surface level. She might not be as invested in keeping the banter going, or might change the subject abruptly when things start to feel a little too flirty. Again, context is key here. If you've just met this girl, and she's already dishing out the playful jabs and cheeky innuendos, chances are she's probably into you. But if you've known each other for a while, and that's just how she interacts with everyone, it might not mean anything more than friendship. Straight-up sassiness, when she's not holding back. Okay, let's talk about the bold ones. The girls who aren't afraid to let you know exactly what's on their mind. If a woman is dropping hints that are about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face, you can bet your bottom dollar that she's flirting with you. We're talking comments like, "You're so hot, it's unfair," or "If you were a transformer, you'd be Optimus fine." Heck, some women might even go so far as to straight up ask you out or suggest grabbing a drink together. Now, unless you've got a particularly eccentric group of female friends, these kinds of over-the-top compliments and invitations are pretty clear indicators that there's some romantic interest at play. But even with the sassiest of ladies, it's still important to pay attention to the overall context and dynamics of your interactions. If she's just a naturally flirtatious person who showers everyone with compliments, her comments might not mean as much as you'd hope. Subtle touch, the ultimate green light? Alright, we've covered body language, conversational cues, and straight-up sassiness. But there's one more surefire sign that a girl is into you: subtle touch. We're talking about those lingering hand grazes, playful shoulder punches, or even full-on hugs that seem to last just a little too long to be purely platonic. If a woman is actively finding excuses to make physical contact with you, it's a pretty solid indication that she's interested in something more than just friendship. Now, it's important to note that some women are just naturally more physically affectionate with their friends, so a casual touch here and there might not mean much. But if you're noticing a pattern of her initiating subtle physical contact, especially when combined with other flirtatious behaviors, it's a pretty strong signal that she's digging your vibe. Of course, you'll want to be respectful and mindful of personal boundaries, but a well-timed, reciprocated touch can be a powerful way to escalate the flirtation and take things to the next level. Putting it all together, a holistic approach. At the end of the day, there's no single, foolproof way to determine whether a girl is dropping hints or just being friendly. It's all about reading the overall context, observing patterns of behavior, and trusting your gut instincts. If you're noticing a cluster of flirtatious signals, prolonged eye contact, playful teasing, subtle touch, and an overall engaged and enthusiastic demeanor, chances are good that she's trying to catch your attention in a romantic way. However, if her behavior is more subdued, one-sided, or consistent with how she interacts with everyone, it's probably safe to assume that she's just being her friendly self. The key is to stay attuned to the nuances of her behavior and to be respectful of her boundaries and comfort levels. Don't push things too hard or make assumptions that could potentially damage the dynamic between you two. And remember, even if a girl is just being friendly, that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy her company and cultivate a fantastic platonic relationship. Heck, some of the best friendships start off with a little bit of flirtatious banter and mutual appreciation. So, keep your eyes peeled, your wit sharp, and your confidence high. With a little practice and a whole lot of emotional intelligence, you'll be a master at decoding the feminine code in no time. The art of escalation, taking it to the next level. Okay, let's say you've picked up on the signals and you're feeling pretty confident that this girl is into you. Congrats! You've successfully navigated the minefield of mixed messages and come out on the other side relatively unscathed. But now comes the real test. How do you take things to the next level without coming across as too aggressive or pushy? The key here is to embrace the art of escalation, a delicate dance of gradually increasing the romantic tension and intimacy without overstepping any boundaries or making your lady friend feel uncomfortable. One of the best ways to do this is through playful banter and well-timed compliments. Tease her about something silly, like her questionable taste in movies, but follow it up with a genuine compliment about her wit or intelligence. This playful push and pull dynamic not only keeps things fun and flirtatious, but also helps to build that all-important emotional connection. And speaking of emotional connection, don't be afraid to get a little vulnerable and share something personal about yourself. Women are often drawn to men who can open up and express their feelings in a healthy, authentic way. Just be careful not to overshare or unload too much emotional baggage too soon. You want to pique her interest, not send her running for the hills. Another key aspect of escalation is finding excuses for casual, non-sexual touch. A playful nudge, a high five, or even a hug goodbye can all help to increase that physical intimacy and comfort level without crossing any major lines. But perhaps the most powerful tool in your escalation arsenal is the art of reading her responses and adjusting your approach accordingly. If she seems receptive to your flirtatious advances, amp it up a notch. If she seems uncomfortable or pulls back, it's time to dial it down and give her some space. Remember, the goal here isn't to rush things or force a romantic outcome. It's to gradually build that sizzling tension and anticipation, one carefully calculated move at a time. Shooting your shot. When to make a move. All right, you've put in the work. You've decoded the signals, built that delicious romantic tension, and now it's time to make your move. But how do you know when the perfect moment has arrived? Well, first and foremost, trust your instincts. If you've been paying attention to her body language, conversational cues, and overall vibe, you should have a pretty good sense of whether she's open to taking things to the next level. That said, there are a few telltale signs that the time is right to make your move. 1. She's initiating more physical contact, leaning in closer, or finding excuses to touch you. 2. The conversation has taken on a distinctly flirtatious and suggestive tone, with plenty of playful banter and lingering eye contact. 3. She's giving you those classic, come hither, looks, the ones that make you feel like you're the only person in the room. 4. She's expressed a clear interest in spending more one-on-one time with you, either by suggesting activities or hinting at future plans. If you're picking up on these kinds of signals, it's probably safe to assume that she's open to you making a move. Whether that's asking for her number, suggesting grabbing a drink together, or even going in for a kiss, if the mood is truly electric. But here's the thing. No matter how confident you might feel, always be prepared for the possibility of rejection. It's just part of the game, and it's better to shoot your shot and risk a little embarrassment than to spend your life wondering, what if? If she does turn you down, handle it with grace and respect. Don't get defensive or try to convince her otherwise. Just smile. Say something like, "No worries, had to try," and move on with your life. Trust me, she'll respect you a whole lot more for being a classy dude about it. At the end of the day, deciphering a woman's intentions and making a move is all about confidence, emotional intelligence, and a healthy dose of respect for her boundaries and comfort levels. If you can master those essential ingredients, you'll be well on your way to navigating the minefield of mixed signals and unlocking the doors to romantic success. So, keep your head up, your wit sharp, and your swagger on point. The world of dating and romance is yours for the taking. You just have to be brave enough to dive in.